Hello, this is Matt from Matt Heaney Apps, and this is part 4 in our Introduction to SwiftUI series. In this video, we will take a look at setting up and using our own custom views. So in the last video, we set up this, a view that could be used in a real-life chat app, which would show a profile picture, a username, and if that user is online. In this video, we're going to build on this to turn this into its own view type, which we could reuse whenever and wherever we want, and so we could use it for a number of different users. With custom views, what we can do is we can take this entire view and we can wrap it all up and give it a name. Then in our SwiftUI project, not only can we create images and text and stacks and so on, we can also create one of these views wherever we want. So by the end of this video, we will have a reusable view and we will have a project that looks like this. As you can see, one view used over and over again for different users. So we have some code to do, so let's get to work. So for this, I'll be using the exact same code from the last video. So either jump back into your project from last time or download the project from the link down in the video description to get to this starting point. As a quick side note, I've made one small change to our code from last time, and that is for the image. I'm now using scaled to fill rather than scaled to fit. It just becomes a lot easier to use when we're using lots of different images that we will do in this video. Other than that, exactly the same code as last time. So get your code ready, make sure your preview is running, hit resume if not, and when your preview is running, we're all ready to go. So before we jump in and set up a new custom view, let's really understand why we would want to do this. So in SwiftUI, the real power comes from using small reusable views. So let's pretend we're trying to set up what we're trying to achieve here, where we'd have multiple users without turning this into a custom view. We know that this here, this HTag in the body of our content view, is the code that makes up this view. If we wanted another one of these for another user, or if we just wanted it somewhere else in the app, we would have to copy this entire code. And then what we could do, again, we won't do this, what we could do is put the whole thing into a VStack and then just paste the code. So this is one way that we could get this view again. We will take the exact same code and copy and paste it down. However, as I'm sure you can probably tell, this feels wrong. It would make your code very, very repetitive. You don't have much control over it. It makes your code honestly just straight up messy to look at. And it'd be very hard to maintain. Say we wanted this view here in 10 different places in the app. Say we wanted it in 100 different places in the app. We'd have to have this exact code in all of those different places. If we then wanted to make one change, say for example, we wanted to make online be bold, we'd have to go through every single place where we've done this code and make that change. From an app standpoint, that is begging for a bug to be introduced. And honestly, from a developer standpoint, it's just a waste of time. So you might be thinking there must be a better way. And there is. That's exactly what custom views will do for us. It'll be this in a much better way. So let's undo this to go back to just one version of this. We'll get rid of the VStack as well for now. And let's take a look at setting up our own custom view. So let's make a custom view, and as we go, you will really see the power of this. So in bigger projects, when you have loads of custom views, it's good practice to put each new custom view into its own file. Just makes everything a lot easier to manage. But for today, let's drop down here to underneath our content view preview. And here, what we will do is we will make our custom view. We will say struct. We will give this a name, perhaps something like profile picture view, and this will conform to view. Open curly bracket and drop a line. In here, we will set up a brand new body for our view by saying var body, some view, open curly bracket and drop a line. Now you might look at this and think this looks very, very familiar. And that is because it's effectively the exact same as the content view that we have prepped for us out of the box in a brand new SwiftUI project. As you can see, the content view is simply a struct which conforms to view with this body property. It's the exact same. It's a SwiftUI view, but without anything in it just yet. The only real difference is that the content view by default will be the first view that will appear when we launch the app. We could swap that out to display any view first, and we'll check that out when we look at navigation later in the series. So what we're going to do, we will grab our entire H stack that makes up this view here. So everything from the H stack down to the closing curly bracket for the H stack. We're going to copy it and we're going to paste it in the body of the profile picture view, just like so. So this is now a brand new view type in SwiftUI, which is made up of our view over here. We're now going to get a whole bunch of errors, and that's because our content view body is empty. It's kind of kicking off because we haven't provided our content view with a body. So what we can now do, rather than adding a brand new image or some text or a H stack or a V stack or whatever, what we can do, we can add profile picture view, this from here. And if we resume, when the preview has updated, as you can see, it looks the exact same. That is because this view here is now profile picture view, which is this. We have now made our own view that we can use simply by saying profile picture view. Now, anywhere in our app that we want this view, we can simply say profile picture view. One of the cool things about this is that this does behave in the same way as any other view in SwiftUI. We could, for example, add modifiers to our profile picture view to add some extra padding if we ever need that. So now let's jump back to our example from earlier on. Say we wanted 2 of these in a V stack. Now, rather than having this exact same code copied, we could say a V stack, then within the V stack, we will just have 2 profile picture views, like so. We could do this as many times as we wanted. By simply saying we want to use this one view, we have that entire custom view that we set up. It's probably worth pointing out now that whilst we will be using a VStack today to make a kind of list to show how reusable custom views are, if you wanted to make a bigger list in SwiftUI, we do have some better tools for that. Keep a lookout when we take a look at lists and grids later in this series. But for today, we will be making a mini list like this just to show how reusable these custom views can be. So this is pretty cool. It's now a reusable view. The problem is, it's not very customizable, especially for a profile picture view which should be showing a user. At the moment, every single time that we ask for a profile picture view, it will be given this user here. But we want to be able to use this view for multiple different users. So let's make this a bit more customizable. Let's delete the second and third profile picture view, so we're back down to one profile picture view. To make this customizable, what we would do, we will tell our code that whenever we want to use a profile picture view, we have to pass in a profile picture, a username, and tell the view if the user is online or offline. To do this, let's jump back to our profile picture view struct and let's add some properties to this struct. So what we'll do, we will set up a property, which will be a constant called name. This will be a string. We'll also set up a property called picture, which will be of type string. And we'll also set up a property called online, which will be a Boolean. So true or false if the user is online. By adding these properties, we're now getting this error when we try and create a profile picture view. And as you can see, it's saying missing arguments for parameters name, picture, and online. So we pretty much told our code that whenever we make a profile picture view, we need this information to set this view up. So now, rather than just saying profile picture view, what we have to do is say profile picture view passing in a name, a picture, and an online status. So now what we can do, we can say, okay, I want a profile picture view for the user Matt Heaney. The picture would be Matt profile pitch, and online status will be true. So this view is now being created with these pieces of information. What we can now do is make this view work with this information that we're passing in rather than just using these hard-coded values. So how would we do that? Well, in the profile picture view, what we can do, rather than just always using the image Matt profile picture, the image will now be whatever picture we pass in. Picture name that we pass in will now be used here. The name will be used as the text for the user. Again, whatever name we pass in here will now be used as the name in our view. And we can now use the online status Boolean to control this bottom view. So what we'll do for this, we will find a circle, we will find the color, and what we'll do, we'll say if the user is online, then make this circle green, otherwise make it red. To do this, we will use a ternary operator. What we can do, we can say online, we do a question mark, and if they are online, the color we want will be green, Otherwise, the color we want is red. If you've never seen this before, it's almost an inline if statement where we were checking this Boolean. If it's true, do this. If it's false, do this. If user is online, make their view green. If they're offline, make their view red. Same with the text. Rather than just saying online, we will check that Boolean. If they are online, we will display the text online. And if they're not online, the text will say offline. And just like that, our view is now a lot more customizable. So for example, what we can do, we can change the name of the user. So we could, in theory, just have Matt. As you can see, our view is updating to just show Matt. Or we could set the online status from true to false. And because of our conditions down here, this little circle will turn red and the text will go to offline. This view is now completely reusable, and we can pass in different information to make this view different for each different user. So let's put this to the test. Let's use this view for different users. So for this, what I'm going to do, I will import 4 more pictures of 4 other users, and I will use this exact view as quickly and as easily as this to create this exact view, but for different users, to show you how really reusable these views are. So for this, the first thing that we need to do is import some images for other users, so into our assets folder. And for this, use any pictures you want of anybody you want. The pictures for my other users are here on my desktop. And a very big shout out to a few of my friends for letting me use their pictures in this video. So what we do, we will grab the pictures of our other users, drag them into our assets folder, and let's set this up. Back into our content view, into the body, into the VStack, and let's make this view work for some other people. You may have to hit resume on your preview. We want a brand new profile picture view. This time the user will be Alice Adams. The picture is going to be Alice profile pitch, and she will be online. And straight away, as you can see, we now have 2 different views for 2 different users. Let's set one up for Sooty the dog, and a few more users. Like so. And then to really kind of make this pop, what we'll do, we will add an alignment to our VStack to make this lead in, to line these all up nicely like so. And just like that, we have now turned our view that we made last time into this reusable custom view, which we can now use very easily wherever we want for our entire project. And it's nice and customizable, so we can use it for a number of different users. So that is what custom views are, why you would use them, and how you would use them. And that wraps up this video. As always, leave any questions or any comments down in the comment section. If you liked watching this video, which I really hope you did, make sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and once again, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.